Hey everyone, Andy here from Luminary Wealth. So one financial decision that I think most people encounter at some point in their life is whether they need to prioritize saving for retirement or prioritize paying down debt. And like with any financial decision, there's no one right answer for everyone, but let's talk through some things you might want to consider. So situations where you might want to prioritize retirement savings versus debt pay down is if you have very low interest rate debts. So if your interest rate on your debt is let's say less than 6 or 7%, less than what you could earn in the market, then that may be a reason to prioritize retirement savings. Similarly, if the minimum monthly payments on your debt are very low and they're not hurting you from a cash flow perspective, then paying down that debt may not be a priority. Age and current savings are another big factor. For instance, if you're older and you have very little saved away for retirement, that would be an indication that retirement savings is probably a big priority. On the other hand, there may be situations where it makes sense to prioritize paying down debt versus retirement savings. For instance, if the interest rate on your debt is very high, like with a credit card debt, obviously you want to pay that down as fast as possible. Or if your minimum monthly payments on your debt are very high, like let's say your student loan payments are $500 or $600 a month, obviously, that's a big cash outflow every month, and that's not going to go away until you pay it off. So that may be a reason to prioritize that as well. Or if you currently have bad credit and you need to start working your way up so that you can buy a home or get an auto loan down the road, then that may be another indication that paying down debt is a priority. But I think the key here is really to find the optimal balance. These two aren't mutually exclusive. For instance, if your employer matches on 401k contributions, you obviously want to take advantage of that. That's free money there. So to forego that in order to pay down debt probably isn't the wisest decision. Another consideration is compounding. So in general, what you contribute between age 25 and 35 is going to have a greater impact on your retirement savings than what you contribute between age 35 and 65. So you probably don't want to contribute nothing during those early years. Or if your goal for retirement savings or paying down debt is prohibiting you from establishing and maintaining an emergency fund, that's an indication that you may need to back off. As we've seen over the past 6 months, having some emergency savings can be really important. So you don't want to sacrifice that. Finally, I think emotions are another thing to consider here. If having any debt at all is keeping you up at night, then that may be a reason to shift your priority to paying down debt. Where, if you're younger and, you really understand the value of compounding and not putting away more towards retirement is keeping you up at night, then maybe that's an indication to shift your priority a little more towards retirement savings. Obviously, there is a numbers component to this, but I think there's an emotional component as well. So allow me to share my own personal experience with this. So my wife and I both graduated from a private school, so we came out with a decent amount in student loans, and paying that off as quickly as possible was a priority to us. We discussed that early on, and we wanted to be aggressive with that. But we didn't want to do that at the expense of missing out on a 401k match. So we at least always contributed to the minimum to get that, contributed to HSAs when it was available to us, put some towards Roth IRAs, but we really wanted to be aggressive about our student loans. And so we found a balance that worked for us. And I think everybody's going to be different, but working with a financial planner can help you think through some of those things and can maybe even help you put some numbers to it. If you're even consciously thinking about these two competing goals, then I think you're on the right track. Hope this was helpful. Have a great week.